Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. All this talk about OpenTX and updating your radios and DFU mode and driver fixers and OpenTX companion and all that stuff, we don't need all that. We need some of that. I'm going to show you the easiest, fastest way to update your OpenTX based radio. All you need is an SD card and OpenTX companion. I'll show you how to do this. For starters, we're going to need OpenTX companion. I suggest going to open-tx.org and downloading the latest version of OpenTX Companion. At the time of recording this video, it's version 2.3.13. I'll leave a link in the video description below. So we're going to go to opentx.org. We're going to click on the 2.3.11 branch, and we're going to just click this right here, the OpenTX installer. Just like all other programs, go ahead and install it. Just click yes to everything, and come right back once you got it installed. All right, we have OpenTX Companion installed. Now we need to get the right firmware for our radio. The radio we're going to be using today is a FrSky QX7, one of the Access versions. Click your little gear icon, make sure we find the correct radio here. Just note, you cannot brick these radios with firmware. I've never seen it done, and if you do end up screwing it up, there's always a way to fix it. At least I haven't found a radio that wasn't able to fix with software. We're going to click Taranis X7 Access. Make sure you select your options. I don't collect a pitch helis, so I'm going to click No Heli. Just saves me a menu in my models. We need Lua scripts for sure. I like the SQT5 font on these black and white radios, and I don't plan on using R9 Flex firmware at all. Down here, default channel order. Doesn't matter. It's just whatever you prefer. TAER, AETR, Betaflight is default AETR. So most of you out there will probably want to do AETR. But if you have models set up, just make sure you click on the same stick layout. For me, it's always TAER. Click OK. Click the down arrow and select check for updates. Make sure there's no updates at this time and click download firmware. Make sure you remember where it is that you're saving this. We're going to need that file in a minute. And next thing is click the SD card contents. And since we're installing the latest version, make sure we click just whatever the newest version is here. That file will take a little bit to download. So I'll be back once we get it downloaded. Okay, now that we have the SD card contents downloaded, make sure we extract those to our computer. Make sure you know where you're putting them so you can find them, so we're going to need them. Now, while those files are being extracted, I'm going to take my SD card, and I got to use a little SD card adapter, and I'm going to plug it into my SD card reader. All right, and just a little tip for my Windows users, pressing the Windows and E key at the same time brings up another instance of the File Explorer. So we're going to do that. I'm going to snap one over here to the left and bring one over to the right. On the left, I'm going to find that SD card that I just inserted into my computer right here. It already has SD card contents from a different version of OpenTX, so we're going to need to fix some of that. On the right, I have the SD card contents we downloaded from OpenTX just recently. I'm going to select everything except for firmware, models, and sounds. I'm going to drag them all over to here. Replace all those. I'm not copying sounds over because that takes a very long time. If you don't have this stuff on an SD card for your radio, just copy it all over. We're going to go back to that downloads folder where I put that firmware file, and we're going to do a little change here. We're just going to take a bunch of characters off the end of it. We want to leave this at about 8 characters. Some radios, it doesn't matter. Some radios do care that the file is only 8 characters long. I don't believe this one really cares, but we're just going to do that anyways. We're going to take that .bin file and we're going to put it in the firmware folder on our SD card. And that's it. Take your SD card out of the computer and we'll go put it back in the radio. Okay, so here's the radio we're working with. It's a QX7, one of the Access radios. Let's go ahead and see what version the bootloader is on there. So hold the 2 trim sticks in and just tap the power button. And you can see we have version 2.3.9. That's very old. We're going to be putting version 2.3.13 on this radio. Go ahead and select exit. Hold down the menu button and go to version, and we're going to see what version firmware is on this. This is version 2.3.9, and this is actually a factory build from FR Sky. It's missing all sorts of features, has a lot of bugs, and we really need to get this off of here. I'm gonna turn your radio off, take that SD card, and we're gonna stick it right inside of the radio. Now, go back into that bootloader menu, hold the 2 trim sticks in, and tap the power button. We're gonna go to Write Firmware. That's the file we put in that firmware folder. Click that, and it says hold enter to start. And it's gonna show you what firmware you're gonna be writing to the radio. It's that simple, that quick. Do not hit restore EEPROM. This will completely wipe your radio. It'll wipe all the models off of it. It'll wipe all your settings. Don't hit that button unless you want to start over. We're gonna hit exit.
Welcome to OpenTX.
The radio's talking to us because we have those sound files on there. Hold down the menu button and hold down page. It'll take you back a menu. 707, and look, we have version 2.3.13 on this radio now. All right, and just to show you guys, come on. We didn't upload the bootloader. This is still 2.3.9.
Welcome to OpenTX. Switch warning.
Here's how we fix that. Hold down the menu key, press page once to get to the SD card menu. You're gonna go into that firmware folder. There's that bin file we wrote to the SD card. I'm gonna find that. We're gonna long hold the enter key. Hit flash bootloader. That's it. Version 2.3.13. This radio is completely updated and ready to go with the newest firmware. Now keep in mind, the firmware on the radio for OpenTX, that's just the interface. That's how you interact with the radio. The firmware for your transmitter module, be it an XJT, a multi-protocol module if you're on one of the jumpers or radio masters, or the ISRM if you're on an access radio, that has to be updated separately. I have tons of videos on how to do that. Just search the channel. They're all over the place. It's very easy to do. So that has to be by far the easiest way to update OpenTX on your radio. What do you think? Was that easier than hooking up a USB cable and hopefully you got in a DFU mode? Hopefully you don't have to run the Impulse RC driver fixer, which Windows detects as a virus pretty much every time, and you gotta whitelist it. Or do you know of a different way to do this that works even better for you? But don't tell me not updating it. You got to update this stuff. There's lots of bug fixes. There's new features that get implemented, like Ghost and CRSF shot. Things like that are being rolled into OpenTX. So if you aren't updated and you are using one of those other protocols like Ghost, Tracer, Crossfire, Express LRS, you're going to want to do this. Makes it native. You don't have to do nightlies. All right, folks. Well, that's it. Let me know if you have any questions, problems, or suggestions. Put them in the video description below. Head over to my website, tweetfv.com, if you want to get yourself some radio grips for your radio, if you want to support me through Patreon, or if you want to join my Discord server. Lots of good people over there, tons of knowledge, be able to help you out with any issue you have over there. All right, folks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Stay positive.